Welcome, everybody. This is Golf Wars. My Brooklyn accent kind of tripping me up there. Run Pure Sports, and I am Statsational along with Schneider and Schlong, better known as Bryce. And who needs JBC? I'm filling in for him, but we were able to hit a pick six all on our own without JBC, although he had a pretty nice week himself, 100K winner. So things are running pure for sure in the golf world here at Run Pure Sports. Snyder, how are we tonight?
We're doing good. Excited for this event here. Shorter field this week, 50 guys. Kind of interested to see how this course is going to play this year. I think it's going to play a little different, a little tougher this year. So fun to dive into this. And then got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend as well.
Yeah, they've only played this course once. They're going to be in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And they've only played the course one time. And then since that, we had minus 27 was the winner, right, with Cantlay. I think they said, you know what, that's just a little too easy. We're going to toughen this one up a bit for such an important event. So they did a whole renovation on this course, made it a little longer, rougher. The rough is thicker and a little narrower in the fairway. So we'll see how it plays this week. Bryce, how we doing, bud?
I'm wonderful. Just, I was at my friend Alex Lore's house last week. This week, had a big golf match against him right before the show. Whooped his ass. So, I hope he's tuning in to hear that. Yeah, I think this course is going to play more towards, and I'll get into this more when we talk about specific players, but there's more par fives. Like they changed some par fours to par fives. Like they kind of lengthened it by doing that. Like I don't necessarily think that it'll play harder on DraftKings scoring wise. It might play harder like scoring, like actual scoring wise, but like I think you can DraftKings score here, and it's no cut. So really looking for guys with upside this week. It's kind of
we said it last week. I always felt like we've done better historically in those no cut events, and then JBC goes out there.
It's just less variance. Like
right.
I mean,
exactly.
Because in high stakes, which him and I play a lot, it comes down to combo luck a lot of the time. Like you're not going to get like the spread of players that you have in your 150 into like, I don't know, this week is like the 4K milli. Like, so it's even more condensed than it is in like a normal week when you're playing like the 888 and stuff. And like, you can get a decent spread there, but like in the middle, you really have to make like sacrifices, some cuts, and whatnot. So it comes down to combo luck a lot of the time, like, because if you don't have 6 out of 6, you're dead. But here, I really like no cut stuff. I've said that for a while now, and I kind of stick by it. It just reduces the variance of like a guy arbitrarily missing the cut by a stroke or two. It makes it easier to sweat when there's a cut, because no cut will swing nonstop until the end of the round on Sunday. It's definitely a cleaner sweat when there's a cut.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you'll be happy to know when we were at the live final in Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago, speaking with DK, they were asking us, JBC and I, like kind of which event do you think they should do the live final for next year? And we just said, we tossed out a couple of ideas, but we did say, it'd be really good to have it at a no-cut event, especially since people are flying in on a Thursday. And your guy just, he's +5 as you're boarding your plane, and you're like, flying out to this thing, I'm already dead before it even starts. So, yeah, I would love to see them do that next year, but we got to focus on this one right here. So, like you guys said, we're down to 50. We're going to cut it down to 30 after this week. So we've got the top 50 players in the world here this week, and like I said, we've got a fairly new golf course. I mean, it may play totally different, so we don't have a lot of course history to go on. We'll be looking at the betting markets. We're going to be looking at maybe some of the stats that you guys think are going to be key and crucial here. I do think one stat, I just think the Bombers are going to be at a bit of an advantage. I don't know if it's going to necessarily be accuracy off the tee. We'll see. I think bombing it off the tee traditionally or historically has been a positive on the PGA Tour, but I think when we talked about last week, I thought it was going to play not quite as difficult as the U.S. Open. But what did we say last week? I said, guys who have had good experience in the U.S. Open, I think are going to fare well. And then you go and get, Spawn, the defending U.S. Open champion, goes and gets himself into a playoff. And then Justin Rose, who's always done really well on those type of golf courses, which we mentioned last week, goes and wins it in a really exciting sudden death final. So let's get into this week. Let's talk about some of the top golfers we have yet. I mean, we're almost 6 minutes into the show, and we haven't said Scotty Scheffler's name, so that's unusual. Scotty, again, a massive, massive favorite this week. Bryce, I'm going to start with you, and let's talk Scotty, and then let's talk about the rest of the guys above 10K, because I always think Scotty kind of deserves his own segment.
So, I mean, I'm always team lock Scotty in weaker fields. In stronger fields like this, like you have some guys that can compete with him here. Like you have the Rory McIlroys of the world. So my strategy on Scotty, I want to be over in high stakes for sure. I think he might get sold a little more there. Low stakes, I think I'm around 40-50% Scotty. I'm playing 5 milli teams. He's on 3 of them. So high stakes, I don't want to fade him. I do think he's playable with Rory. You just want to get a little different at the bottom, and I think that's kind of a discussion to have with Rory. I kind of think that those two are, kind of miles ahead of the field here in terms of everyone. It's like them two. It's like Scotty's 1A, Rory's 1B, and then there's like a huge gap between the rest. So I kind of think it makes sense to talk about them both. You can get a much better team with Rory. But if you're playing Rory Scotty combos, there's only so many options, so I wouldn't like limit it, but I would definitely try and get different at the bottom if you're playing those two together. I think I have 3 Rory teams and 3 Scotty teams. One of them paired together. I have one as an anchor in all my milli teams. So that's kind of my preferred build this week. Start with one of the two. I would prefer Scotty if I had to flip a coin, but Rory will definitely be a bigger buy for me compared to the field. I always play Rory in these types of situations where he's like 8-1 to win, significantly lower priced, and comes in at half the ownership of Scotty. You've seen Rory come in higher in previous tournaments, but I think with the no cut stuff, it's just easier to get to Scotty than it would be at like a major.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think? How do you think the high stakes players, those high stakes?
Rory will be higher owned in high stakes for sure. Not higher owned than Scotty. I'm saying higher owned comparatively to low stakes.
And you think Scotty will be lower owned in the high stakes game than he will be in the big GPPs?
I think that a lot of people will go more stars and scrubs in high stakes. And if you really want to get different, you would go mid-tiers. I'm doing that like in, say, the 5-5-5 and whatnot, but I'm not doing it in any of my milli teams.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because, with just 50 guys, these are all, obviously the top 50 golfers. We don't have any real dregs in here. All of these guys can really go low and give us a good fantasy score, at least. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play it at the high stakes level. Schneider, what do you like here? Let's just talk about Scotty and Rory first, and then we'll get into some of these other guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with Bryce. I think both of these guys in like the lotto, I think they're both going to come in relatively like at around 30% or so. I think it's going to be a little more capped ownership this week, but I lean a little bit more for Rory over Scotty at the moment right now. Rory's just always played these playoff events so well. I mean, he's usually right there inside the top 10, top 5, going back to these Tour Championship, the BMW and the FedEx and stuff. He's usually right there. And I like the price savings you get with him there too. So I'm going to be a little higher on Rory. He's starting to come around. Took the week off last week. The game was rounding back into form after he kind of had a couple of blimps on the radar there around the PGA Championship time, and then he missed that cut at the Canadian Open where he kind of just punted that. But since then, it's been T7 or better in 3 straight events. I like how Rory's game's coming in. Scotty is not going to have Ted Scott on the bag. I think that's not huge, but I think that's worth a slight dock to Scotty not having Ted Scott on the bag. He's going to have Chris Kirk's caddy on the bag, but definitely not anywhere close to the caliber of caddy that Ted Scott is. So maybe like a third of a stroke, you could dock him maybe per round or something like that. Nothing like crazy or anything like that. But Scotty at 13.4, Rory, you get that 2K savings. You can fit a lot more. Over on like FanDuel, I'm playing Scotty and Rory on every team I play over there. I mean, the pricing's so soft over there. I'm just locking Scotty and Rory in every team over there. But I'm going to be similar to Bryce. I'm going to be about right around the field, I think, on both. Maybe a little higher on Rory, though.
Before we get to the rest of the guys here, Bryce, you're playing, let's say, 150 max. How many lineups have neither of those guys in them?
I can check real quick. Not a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say
I would say what, 20%.
So
maybe more, maybe 30%, because I have what, like 40, 30. Not tons of them are paired. Some of them are paired, so probably like 35% off the top of my head.
Okay, all right. It's interesting because I don't think there's a really clear-cut way to go. Like you said, I think a lot of people, you could play a lot of mids here and go that route. But I do think we're going to see a lot of both of those guys, Scotty and Rory.
I don't love like the next tier of golfers comparatively is the issue. Like there's a couple guys that I would start my team with, and we can kind of segue into those players a bit here if we want to. I like Fleetwood for me is a big sell. Like Xander's a big sell, and that's because I'm so high on Rory Scotty. Cantlay's a big sell. Who else is a big sell here?
How about JT?
JT's a massive sell for me. Aberg's the one I really don't want to sell. Like if I wasn't starting my team with Rory or Scotty, I would start it with Aberg, and I would not have any teams starting with anyone below Aberg. Henley's a big sell for me as well. We can kind of go down to what we'll cut it off here at Henley.
Yeah.
But yeah, this next range to me, I just think these guys kind of suck compared to Rory and Scotty. Like I think the chance that Rory and Scotty are in there are pretty good. In a no cut too, like I'm much more willing to go high low, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm pretty much selling the next range very hard. And that's kind of where my week is going to be made. If Rory or Scotty wins, I should have a pretty good chance to have a team up there in at least one of the contests.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. Look, we took Scotty. You took him, as a matter of fact, I believe it was, right? Over to finish better than 3.5. And he did.
Well, that's all. I personally wouldn't necessarily do that here. Like, just because you have Rory in the field.
Right.
Like that will not be a pick six play for me this week. Like last week, I was all in Scotty. I had Scotty on every single team. This week, I'm not willing to do that because I feel Rory is one of the few people in the world, if not the only, that can match his upside. And, you're getting what? 2K discount flat on him. That does go a long way in roster construction, even in no cut.
So I'm in agreement with you. I think the next best golfer here is going to be Ludwig. So that would be my third choice. I agree with you. I'm the one who took JT to go less than last week. So that was one of our hits in the pick six, and not high on him again this week at all. Schneider, what do we like here outside of Rory and Scotty when we're looking in that kind of 10K and above?
Yeah, as you're looking at the betting markets and stuff too, you'll see like in the head-to-heads for more exactly the head-to-heads, the bombers are favored more so over everyone in the head-to-heads. Like whoever hits the ball furthest, they're generally favored in almost every single matchup this week. So bombers is definitely something I'm really weighing high on, and that leads me to Ludwig right there. I think Ludwig's the best play in this 10K range by quite a wide margin. I think actually. I'm off Fleetwood. I was overweight on Fleetwood last week. I'm just off him after what happened last week. We seen him kind of dip. The last time he got second at the Travelers Championship, he kind of dipped in that next event he played. I kind of look for him to kind of regress a little bit this week. So I'm going to be off Scotty, under on Xander. Xander does need a pretty big week this week. He's currently sitting like 44th, I think. So he needs a decent finish here to make it to East Lake. So I think Xander may be a little more motivated. I think he's definitely a guy I want to have in like a 150 or some type of build like that. But definitely, I even like my main team might even start like Ludwig, Cam Young. I think both of those bombers are really strong here. So I don't mind starting a team with Ludwig. He's played well in these playoffs. It wasn't at this track, but last year at this event, he was T2, and he's coming off of a T9 finish. He's had a couple two of the last three have been top 10s for Ludwig. He's got the firepower to match all these guys. We've seen him go toe-to-toe with Scotty in the past. So I think Ludwig's clearly the best play in this 10K range, and it looks like the betting markets are going that way as well. He's really getting steamed up on Pinnacle. He's down to plus 1592 right now. Earlier today, I seen he was right around like plus 18, plus 1900. So he's catching some steam there as well. But
are you looking at that live? Are you? Because I literally looked at that 20 minutes ago, and it was I downloaded it. He was 1621 there, so it's been moving that quickly.
Yeah, I just refreshed it before the show started. I just refreshed it again. We'll see where it's at. I got 1592 right now.
Yeah, so he's moving. He's getting steamed.
Yeah, so I definitely will be overweight. I'll be overweight more so on Ludwig than I will be overweight on Scotty and Rory percentage. I think Ludwig is the guy, especially in some of those high stakes stuff. Wouldn't surprise me to see Ludwig rival the ownership of Rory or something like that around that 25 to 30% range. But I'll be overweight on Lud. Haven't been playing JT. Not going to start. Haven't been playing Cantlay. He won this event in 21, but it's a lot different now. I don't really like the way he's hitting the ball off the tee recently. So I'll be a little under on Cantlay or off completely. But yeah, it's just Ludwig for me, and then maybe some Xander as well.
Yeah, I think I've got Xander at plus 2,000 earlier over on DraftKings. So I thought there was good value there on him. We will see on that. Let's dip down now. I think where we're going to have to start looking a little bit closer if we're going to play that strategy with Scotty and Rory being so heavy. Bryce, who do we like in this 9K range? Straka is out for this event, so we actually do have it's 49, right? Actually, not 50 golfers. So Straka was the 9K guy. Who do we like here? It's we work our way down. You got Cam Young and Russell Henley, who you mentioned, Morikawa, JJ Spawn, who obviously played really well last week. Burns, you've got Hovland, and then Ben Griffin, who's had a pretty good season. Dipping down into this range, I think again it kind of looks like ownership will be spread out. Anyone here that you want to get significantly over on or under on?
Guys who can really rack up birdies. I think Cam Young and Hovland are my two favorites in the range, and pretty much everyone else is a sell for me, at least in my Millie teams. They're the only ones here who really made pairings. It's just kind of hard with Scotty. And, that's why I think that the Rory bills are so strong too. Like you can get your Rory, like Hovland type of teams. You can get your Rory, Cam Young type of teams much easier. And you can get them with Scotty. I don't know. I think these prices on some of these guys who are playing a little out of their heads right now, like Spawn, Griffin, I don't think Burns or Morikawa have it right now. Struck is obviously out. The range is just 9K for me is pretty much a sell outside of those two guys.
Okay. Yeah, for me in this range, as far as bets go, I do have I got Cam Young 20 plus 2,800 earlier. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Cam Young is absolutely smashed for us this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can't do any Alex. I'm about the polar opposite of Mark in a lot of things outside of when we pretty much share a brain when it comes to betting. But other than that, so I will not be yelling Cam Young as maybe Mark likes to do. But Mitch, what do we like here? 9K range. We got to start, or do we have to start getting overweight on some of these guys in this range?
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you with Cam Young going the bomber route once again. He nukes it off the tee. He's been playing some really good golf too as of late. We see him go on a couple of these tears at times. He's off a win at the Wyndham, and he backs that up with a a fifth place finish last week. Had one of the best rounds on Sunday as well to kind of backdoor himself into that top 5, which was huge for Mark, and it actually helped me quite a bit as well. I mean, he's just been so good ball striking the last couple of weeks. He's got the putter kind of turning around as well. So I think this is a really good course fit for him. The betting markets agree with that as well. He's down to plus 1869 right now on Pinnacle. So I think I like starting a lot of teams with like Ludwig and Cam Young there as well. You can kind of go more middle based. Like we saw last week, even when Scotty was leading, he wasn't winning in some of those contests as well. So I think there's paths, like I said last week, where Scotty can win this or Rory can win this and still potentially not be on the optimal. It all depends on if you see like Ludwig, Cam Young, and like Goddard or something. All 3 of those finish inside the top 7 or something. You got 3 of those guys. You might not need them, but definitely heavy on Cameron Young. Russell Henley has just been a guy I've just been clicking on. I mean, the price tag's getting up there a little bit. It's tough to click on him at this tournament. Isn't the longest off the tee, which is going to hurt him as well. But 150-wise would be a guy I would sprinkle in there. Haven't been playing Morikawa. He actually played good for 3 rounds last week before he kind of ejected on Sunday. Just going to stay off of Morikawa, even though he's my guy. I'm going to be off of Spawn this week, 9,400 for him. Kind of off the big letdown there in the playoff. It was wild how he was making all those long putts down the stretch. He just drops that like 35-footer in, and Rose makes that to a 10 to 12, 15-footer to extend the playoff. That was a wild playoff there. I know Mark was saying it was like a 90K swing if JJ would have won.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, well, because the runner-up had Spawn. It just literally came down to the playoff.
It was. Yeah, I was putting furniture together for my dad, and I'm like, oh man, and then Mark's texting me, and I'm like, well, now I got to watch I got to sit in front of the TV. I can't listen to it. I got to watch it. And then he was in Alaska, and he wasn't getting the updates on the PGA, so I'm giving him proximity to the hole, and who's in a position off the tee. So that was fun. So it was good that it worked out. But Morikawa, you look at the betting market, boy, he is the 18th choice on Pinnacle, and probably the 10th choice as far as price goes on DraftKings this week. So, that does not look good for a Colin Morikawa. Mitch, I'm going to stick with you, and we're going to dip down now to a range in the 8K. And for those playing sort of mids, these guys are going to be really popular, I would assume. You've got Goddard, who I like probably the best personally here in this group. We're looking for guys who could bomb it. Goddard looks like a guy here who can do that. Justin Rose, not the winner last week. He's here in this group, 8,600. And of this entire group, he actually has the longest odds over on Pinnacle. So what do you guys think here? You've got a few guys who we didn't like last week. We didn't like Keegan Bradley. In this group, Corey Connors, we won the on his going under his number in the pick 6. So who do we like here? 8K range. You got Batia, McIntyre, Sungjae. Talk to me, Mitch. 8K and up.
Yeah, there's a couple good guys, I think, at the top of this range. I've been playing Hideki the last 4 or 5 weeks. Continues to finish inside the top 20. The iron play is right there. It's just whether he can put it all together to be there on Sunday. But I think Hideki's got a really good chance to be right inside that top 15, top 20 area again this week. He's a guy that I definitely want in the pool. I'm going to have him on some teams. He'll be an option that I have, like if I play like a Ludwig team where I start Ludwig. Hideki will probably be like the 3rd or 4th guy in on that team, I think. So he's strong there. Fitzpatrick's been playing some strong golf. He had one of his worst rounds. I think it was the worst round graded that I could find from him from like 7 or 8 years off the tee last week. He lost over 5 strokes off the tee last week, where he had gained in the last 5 events before that. So I think that's kind of just a little blimp on the radar. Willing to give him a pass on that. So he finished T32 last week with the worst graded off the tee game I could find, like I said, in the last 6 or 7 years. But I think he's fine to go back to this week. $8,900. It's good price. He had been finishing inside the top 10 religiously for the last 4 events before that. So I think he's fine. Going to continue to fade Keegan. I haven't played him in a couple of months, so I'm going to continue to be off Keegan. The price tag on Rose is a little too high for me now, $8,600 off the win. We'll be off Rose this week. I do like Chris Gotterup quite a bit here. This is a really good spot for him, I think, and the betting markets seem to like that as well. He's right up there. What about the 10th or 11th best odds in the field here? And he's 8,500. Yeah, and he's been so good off the tee, gaining tons of strokes off the tee over the last pretty much this whole year, going back to back to March. He's been at least 1 stroke gain off the tee in every single event. Really strong off the tee. Gotterup is, and just kind of had a bad week. Was one of his worst approach shot weeks last week. Lost over 4 strokes approach. But on round 4, he finally kind of figured things out, it looked like, on round 4. He gained across the board round 4 after having – round 2 was just an abysmal round for him. But Sunday, he kind of figured some stuff out, gained with the flat stick, gained with the irons, gained off the tee. So I really like how Chris Gotterup's game is trending coming into this. And this course should really fit his game. So I'll be really high on Gotterup there. I'll be off of Connors this week. Under on English, off of Akshay. Akshay just doesn't hit the ball far enough for me. He's been struggling around the green too with the short game. So I don't trust him at 8,200. There's some better guys, I think, in the 7K range that I'll be getting to. You could always play Bobby Mack in tournaments if you want. I'll be under on the rest of this range. So I think the only real guys I like in this range is going to be Gotterup 1, Hideki 2, and then Fitzpatrick 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Hideki. Well, he that's his game, is always right, the iron game for him. I think on these courses that may play a little easier, I always like Hideki. Especially if it's not going to be a tough putting type of course, which I don't think they'll necessarily have a difficulty putting. That's typically where he struggles. So I do like Hideki as well. And like I said, I think the course sets up for Gotterup. I think he's the class of the 8K field for me. Bryce, do you agree with that? You're looking somewhere else, and which way are you going with this?
Yeah, Gotterup is my highest owned guy here. You guys could not hear it, but Mateo obviously loves him. He's trying to go nuts right now over Gotterup. So he's absolutely one of my favorite plays. The 8K range falls off a little bit for me. I'm kind of hammering the 7K range, and that's because I'm hammering the top 2 golfers. So you just end up getting more of them. Other guys,
not a lot for you in
not
this range. So
not a ton
Bryce
for me in this range.
Hold up, Bryce. You just you froze up on us there for a second. You're back.
Yeah, sorry, Mateo's messing around with stuff. Gotterup's the class of the field for me here as well. Playing the top 2. Not to repeat myself, but it's just kind of hard to make good teams with them, which is kind of why I'm hammering like a ton of the 7s will be my highest owned guys outside of the top 2. I do like Gotterup a lot. I'm going to disagree with Snyder here. I kind of like Akshay. I like him in like birdie. Like I like him in no-cut stuff because he's such a high variance type of player. He paid off last week. Willing to bet on him again. Corey Connors snuck his way onto one of my Millie teams. I don't mind him. Outside of them, I think the sells would definitely be Keegan and Rose. I think are the 2 worst plays in this range by a decent margin. Hideki and Bobby Mack would be like the 2 guys I would want my Millie teams, but didn't quite make my portfolio.
Yeah, I agree with you with Rose. I liked Rose last week. I said there's a lot of upset. Like Rose is the kind of guy who's going to really compete on that type of course last week. This week, I think he kind of gets gobbled up. I think he had his big win. In this range, there are a few guys I would agree with you here that I don't necessarily care for, but I'll go back to it. Gotterup, I think, is the guy in this range. Guys, before we head on and move over to the 7K range, do us a favor, just hit the like and subscribe if you have not done so. At least like it if you are already subscribed to this channel. Really appreciate it, and it helps us out tremendously. All right, let's dive into the 7K, where Bryce is saying this is where he's going to be living. Like, these 7K guys are going to make him $1 million here this week. So, Bryce, in the 7K range, are we blanketing? Are we playing like all these guys? For me, Kitayama, I think, just stands out, and I'm sure you like him as well. Who else? And maybe I'm wrong with Kitayama, but who else in this range with Kitayama in the 7K range are we looking to really hammer?
I think Kitayama is the best price per dollar play on the board here. Big fan of Kurt Kitayama this week. I have him on multiple Millie teams. I like Mav as well. Day, I don't quite like as much. Siwoo, I always like in Birdie Fest. Taylor Pendrith, I think, is a guy who might go a little under the radar. I'm real high on Pendrith this week, and he's not normally a golfer that I hammer here. Other guys I like in this range, and I kind of like them all. Andrew Novak. I do prefer him slightly to Denny, but I like Denny as well. It's just a range I really want to hit outside of Chasing Day. He's kind of the one guy that I don't like here. And, yeah, 7K is going to be big buys for me. Kind of skipped over Fowler and Hall, but I do like Harry Hall. Don't really like Ricky. Harry Hall, once again, kind of like Ache to me. Like him in like no cut, like high upside type of events like this.
I know Wiley likes Harry Hall, so I heard he's big on Harry Hall this week. Matt, you can let us know in the comments. But they're taking it. Slapshot says, listen, if you play Novak in the 4-4-4, you're basically lighting your money on fire. Right.
Well, hopefully not, because that's what, $8,000 lit on fire. I have him on 2 out of my 5.
Almost $9,000.
Yeah,
so.
I like Novak this week. I just think he's a good player, and I think this course will fit his game well.
Well, let's see.
But Novak's been a long-term buy for me pretty much all season, if you guys have been tuning in. So, once again, type of guy who can really excel in Birdie Fests, or not even Birdie Fest, no-cut events.
One thing we know, it is a no-cut event, and we're almost positive this will be a Birdie Fest as well. And someone asked, we are looking for bombers this week for sure. Mitch, do we agree here with Bryce? I think a lot of people are going to agree with Kitayama being the man here in the 7K range, but we've got a lot of options here at 7K. What do you like in this range?
Yeah, definitely really high on Kitayama here. The betting markets love him. He's got better odds than some of the guys in the 9K range even. And then you look at what he's been doing as of late. Hits the ball. He's one of the longest guys in the field. He's averaging just over 320 off the tee. He's second to Scotty in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach last 36 rounds. He's made 18 birdies or more in 6 straight events as well. So he's been making a ton of birdies, which you need in this no-cut event. I honestly think he probably should be priced somewhere like right up in between like Connors, Goddard, Rose. I think he and Rose should have probably switched salaries this week. 8-6, I would still be overweight on Kitayama. So 7-6, I'm definitely high on him. Everything seems to be pointing that direction. He's been top 15 in 4 of the last 5 events as well. So just going to keep riding the Kitayama deal here. I think he needs a decent finish here as well. He's let me see where he is in the he's 36, so he's not locked into next week yet. So he needs to keep keep the pedal to the metal there. Kitayama is a really strong play for me. Harry Hall, our guy Harry Hall, just continues to make a lot of birdies. He's the best putter in the field. So in a birdie fest with the best putter in the field, definitely will be overweight on my guy Harry again. I think round 3 it was. He had like one of his worst rounds he's played in a while, but battled back on Sunday. I think Fowler's in play here. He's been hitting the ball really good off the tee. Approach is one of his best events last week. Approach and off the tee last week that he's had this year. T6. He's still grinding out there trying to make it to East Lake so we can get in all the majors next year as well. So I'm decently mid on Fowler. Probably off Lowry again. I just haven't been playing him recently, so I'd rather just double down on like some of these other guys. And I like McNeely better than Lowry. 7.5 for McNeely. He's got good upside. Has been consistently finishing around the top 25. I think he's got some good upside for 7.5. Haven't been playing Jason Day. Probably won't play him here. He's kind of a shorter hitter. I just don't know if this really will set up for him. The upside that Siwoo Kim has, he's always a guy you need to have 10 to 15% in the MME. So I'll have some of him. And Pendrith, I'm kind of looking around on Pendrith, kind of getting there. He's averaging 315 off the tee, so he's hitting the ball a long ways off the tee. That's really going to benefit him here, I think. So I'll be decently high on Pendrith. And then you go from Pendrith to Denny. Denny grades out pretty well, like putting-wise in a birdie fest. A little shorter off the tee, but I think he's fine here at 7,100. A lot of these guys you just need to mix and match with your Scotties and whatnot, and Rory's up top. So you're going to be naturally kind of overweight on a lot of these guys, I think. I like the upside that Novak has, too, coming off that T6. So I like that with what Bryce said on Novak. So I'll be on Novak as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a very popular range. You know, I'm just looking at Sabre, and they've got McNeely and Kitayama basically the same ownership in the lotto. Do you think that's going to be close, or I just think Kitayama winds up being the highest owned in this range by not a ton, but should be the highest owned. No, Bryce, what do you think?
I think it'll be close, but Kitayama should be higher owned.
Same thing, Mitch.
Like in the higher stakes stuff, I think Kitayama could even potentially be like 25% or higher in some of those contests.
Kitayama is my highest owned golfer outside of Rory and Scotty.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you in the big one, how many do you have here? Is it two or you have 2 or 3? You have 2 out of 5 with Kitayama.
Yeah, I didn't go over 2 on anyone besides Rory and Scotty. They're both in 3.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think that makes sense because if you're going to go heavy, if you're going to go heavy with those guys at the top, you do want to kind of diversify a little bit as we go below.
And like my Rory and Scotty team has like some weirdos down here at the bottom. But you know, high-low builds, as we highlighted earlier in the show, need these 6K players. I can just run through them real quick here. I like most of them, to be honest. The only ones I don't like, for the most part, there are 2 golfers I did not play at all. I did not play Tom Hoagie. I did not play Brian Campbell. So outside of them, I have ownership on all of them. My favorite here would be Sam Stevens. I just think the course sets up really well for him, and he's in multiple millions teams for me. Other guys I like Berger, Poston, Nick Taylor's okay here to me. Bridgman, I like. Glover, I don't like as much of that. I loved Glover last week. I don't really like him as much this week. Bud Cauley, I think, is a decent way to get different. Same goes for Gerard and Fox. Detry, I don't particularly like. And then Johnny Vegas, I do. So I'm kind of playing half the range pretty heavy here.
Mitch, we're going down here to that bottom range where if we're going to be heavy on Scotty and Rory, obviously we're going to have to play some of these guys and maybe multiple in the same lineup. What do you like down here? I'm looking at the betting markets, and Stevens is really mispriced if you take the betting markets into account. He's probably the most mispriced golfer down in this range. He's at about
75 to 1 on Penny.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the rest of these guys are, 10K and up. He's about the 30th golfer on Penny and about 39th on the actual DraftKings pricing. So Mitch, do we agree with Stevens being maybe the best golfer down here in this 6K range? And who else do we like?
Yeah, I think Stevens is definitely a strong golfer down here, birdie upside wise. Back at the 3M, he made 27 birdies in that event, so we know he can go deep at times. I think he's got really good upside for the price, definitely on him as well. I'm actually going to continue to be off of Berger. He's just been so abysmal with the short game. Last week, he lost over 12 strokes with the short game. He's actually losing just over a full stroke now with the short game per round, last 36 rounds. So it's been basically like 4 months of him just being absolutely horrible with the short game, both around the green and putting wise. So I'll probably be underweight or even just completely fading him like I have been. I think Poston's got some good upside here for 6,700. Nick Taylor's always got some decent upside. He's a guy that definitely needs to be in the pool, I think. My favorite guy in this range is going to be down near the bottom, though. I like Johnny Vegas quite a bit, 6,100. Dude bombs it off the tee. Comes off a solid finish last week, T14 last week. He's made 18 and 20 birdies in his last 2 events. So at 6,100, if you can get a guy knocking in 18 birdies, he's going to outscore, I think, his position or his salary and wherever he finishes at. So I like the birdie upside that Johnny has. Hits his long irons really good too. So I'm highest on Johnny Vegas in this range. I do like Bud Cauley again this week. I was off him for quite a while last week. He kind of found some stuff in his game there. Ends up finishing T15. Just was really good with the irons last week. Gained on every single round with the approach there last week. The putter is always going to be up and down with him. But it was good to see him finally hit the irons good after about 4 straight bad events hitting the irons, where early this year we were on him about every week. He was finishing inside the top 10 a lot early summer and late spring. He was just flushing the irons back then. So maybe he found something with the irons. So Bud Cauley at 6,300, I'll be having him in there some too. But I think a lot of these guys are definitely in play. I'm not playing Michael Kim, not playing Brian Campbell, not playing Tom Hoagie, probably not playing Dietrich either. But I think Ryan Fox is strong. He bombs it off the tee as well, getting some love in the betting markets as well. So for me in this bottom 6K range, it's going to be Johnny Vegas 1, Sam Stevens 2, and then probably Bud Cauley 3.
Yeah, I think when you get down to this range, I mean, that's really where I would look more towards distance off the tee, right? Because these guys at the top, I mean, look, obviously Scotty and Rory, all those guys they hammer the ball, but they're the best golfers in the world all around. I think when you get down to the bottom, that's to me where I'd really want to separate guys and just look for these guys who can really that could really move it off the tee. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, with a 50 field event or maybe 49 player event, you know, we were able to get through that pretty quickly. But we're going to do our DraftKings pick 6. Before we get there, any like win bets that you guys like? I gave out mine earlier, a couple of them. I like Cam Young earlier. I got it at 2,800 on DraftKings. I had Xander at plus 2K on DraftKings, and I didn't mention Kurt Kitayama, which I guess will be a popular bet here, plus 4,500 on DraftKings earlier today. Those were my 3 bets. Any bets for you guys that you're interested in here? Win bets?
I was on some Goddard in the winner without Scotty and Rory market. I got Goddard up 25-1 on the site. I like Ludwig too at 22-1 to win the event on DraftKings, our partner. Use that promo code DKNG.co/RPS for your promo for DraftKings, and then the RPS promo is RPS 15 to get you 15% off your first month. So that's it for that.
Bryce, any bets here that you like?
Yeah, I like this without Scotty markets, to be honest. If you're not playing Scotty, I just think he has so much win equity every week. It's kind of nice to play without him. Some guys I do like here. Taylor Pendrith and Andrew Novak. I don't think you're getting enough love on DraftKings. And then absolute wild card, I don't mind, is Ryan Fox.
I like that. Yeah, look, I'm not saying anything no one does, that no one else is saying. But I mean, Scotty's going to be tough to beat, I think, in a short field like this on a course that he should be able to just really, really dominate. So it'll be tough fading him, but I can't play a plus 250. I just can't play a golfer at plus 250. I'm looking to get a little bit of a longer price with those three other guys.
I mean, Stats, what do you think? Like you can get Scotty probably Saturday if he's right there close to the lead, probably at like plus 250 as well Saturday. Don't you think you could?
Yeah, it's going to depend. Yeah, I mean, it might be a shorter price than that. It's going to, obviously it's going to depend how many golfers maybe are in between he and the lead. So we'll see. I'll tell you, it's one thing when you watch the live. Do you bet any of the live? Do you do any live betting?
Sometimes, yeah. Like last week, I took a little bit of Scotty plus 190 when he was one back there on Sunday.
Man, you can get some good prices in the live markets. I think, I mean, literally in one hole, guys will move from like a minus 175 all of a sudden. Now they're plus money. I mean, it just flips that quickly. Anyone playing I would say anyone playing. I was sitting with my dad watching it. I'm like, man, unless it's Scotty up there, I don't know if I can lay money on any of these guys. Being or play them at minus money as a favorite coming down when it just takes one bad shot from that golfer and then one good shot from the guy behind him, and it's a 2-3 shot swing. So you can get some really good pricing in the live markets over on DraftKings if you're going to sit and follow it, which is fun, and I think that'll be a great way to play it this weekend. So speaking of DraftKings, listen, we're on a heater, man. So we hit a 20x price last week on the picks.
20x. Sadly, some of the picks must have been popular. I didn't really look into it because 20x is the minimum.
Yep.
Just getting some questions on Twitter about that. The minimum payout guaranteed by DraftKings. So yeah, we hit the minimum payout, which is still 20x. So let's run it back this week. I see a lot of stuff I like on the board. I think I could make my own, but I always need help from my guys as well.
So we did it as a team. We did it as a team last week. We'll do it as a team again.
100%. Would you like to start it off here?
I could start it off. Yeah, let's. I'm going to go with I guess probably a popular pick, but I'm going to take Morikawa less than 17.5.
Love that. That's one of the ones that I was looking at as well.
I was kind of looking at that too.
That's why I wanted to jump out first, because I knew you guys were going to like that one. But I know you guys have a lot more picks.
I like a lot of the worst markets this week.
You got to mix it up with these, right? You can't play. You just can't play like 6 overs and 6. You got to kind of.
Yeah, it's
in a short field, balance. Especially. Short field. All right, who we got?
Okay, so we have Morikawa worse than 17.5.
17.5.
Okay. Snyder?
I'll take Kitayama better than 20.5. It's probably the chalk play, but
love it. I love
Kurt later.
Kurt Kitayama this week. I absolutely love. I'm giving you guys 2 worses here. Justin Rose worse than 19.5.
I like it. That. Okay. Are you going to go back to back, or you want?
I can go back to back.
Go ahead. You got 2 worses.
Patrick Cantlay worse than 16.5.
I like that too.
Those are kind of the 2 I really had queued up. I'm selling them super hard DFS, and I think they're super overvalued here. It's a tough field, and I like the worst bets this week in general.
And all right, we'll play it like a snake draft. Let's go back to Snyder. What do you like?
Okay, let's go. I'm going to take Ludwig better than 16.5.
All right, I like it. I like that.
I was looking at.
I'm going to take a better as well. I'm going to go with Goddard up at 18.5.
Yeah,
we'll go better on Goddard up.
All right, perfect. So we have 3 overs, 3 unders to run it back for the people. We have Cantlay worse than 16.5, Rose worse than 19.5, Morikawa worse than 17.5, Kitayama better than 20.5, Aberg better than 16.5, and Goddard better than 18.5.
Well, I said it last week. It was a lock. I'm going to say it again this week. and see if we can lock this one up as well. What are they giving us as the min on there, Bryce?
Min's $20 for
it's always
6.
20. Okay.
Yeah, and if you get 5, it's 1.5 times your money. Submit this. We are going to double up this week after a successful week. Last week, put 10% of our winnings into it. $200 pick 6 is in pending location. Picks have been submitted. I will post this on Twitter for the people.
Yeah, I love it. All right, guys, listen, we've got a lot. I mean, this is it, man. We're mid-August. Golf is winding down, which means NFL is just getting started, and we've got you covered here at RPS. Mitch, what do you got going on with you've got best ball stuff going on, and you've got of course we've got preseason. What's going on with best ball?
Yeah, I've got a ranking sheet over on the site Rampier. Basically, just with my rankings for quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. With where I have them ranked in tiers and such, and then rounds that I'm looking to target them on as well. And then JSU and Wiley have some stuff over there as well for individual teams that they're targeting for best ball and such. We got all that over there. I'll have showdown stuff up as well for all 4 rounds as well. Rounds 1 through 4 have the showdown playbook up. We'll have the core plays up there as well for that. And then, like you alluded to, preseason is into week 2 this week. Actually had a really good week 1 from preseason there. We had some good bets in the Discord, and then we had the core plays in playbook for the preseason was really rock solid for the week 1 as well. So looking forward to week 2 and that, and looking forward to the monster UFC card this week in Chicago. Looking forward to that. We'll have all the content up on the site for that as well.
Yeah, we're going to be. I'm actually working on with Splash. We're going to have a $100 entry contest. It's going to be sort of like if you're familiar with the Super Contest out in Vegas. We're going to make you got to pick 5 games against the spread. We'll do some weekly winners and the season-long winner, of course. So I think it's going to be capped at 1,000 entries. So it's not up yet, but keep that. We'll post that when we get it up on Splash. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to have all the RPS guys will be in there, so you can make fun of us and try to challenge us, and we'll play some side bets on all of that. That'll be fun in the Discord as well. Bryce, what do we got going on for you here coming up this week?
Big
what
golf
shows
week.
are you on?
I'm normally on the Sunday baseball show every week. Sadly, I am not on it because I will be traveling back from Chicago, going to the UFC event this weekend. Kamaev and Duplessis is pretty much the best fight you can make. So I'm super fired up for that. Last card I was at was with you actually in Miami. And
The Miami one. That was a fun night.
We had an absolutely great time at the fights, and especially after. Sure we'll
at 11
these stories to
at 11. Yeah, no, I don't know if we could tell all the stories, but we were there with Izzy and Volkanovski and of course Beck, the quarterback now for the University of Miami, was in our group. That was a fun story that we could tell in maybe Discord.
I got a text message from Mark that night.
We'll talk about that on a non-free show.
Time.
He had a fantastic time.
Hopefully we have that good of a time this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I hope you do. So, all right, guys, listen, that is going to be it for us. Again, if you have not already done so, please subscribe. Hit that like on your way out. And for Schneider, for Schlong, I am Statsational, and we will see you again next week.